you saying, Souls? Do you think you can beat, if Chelsea and Spurs bid the same money as you for Raphinha, who do you think wins this race?
KG, it's the confession open, man. There's bare sinners on here, you know. Bare lies being told. What do you mean? Like, firstly, right, why on earth would he, why is it a guaranteed he'll go to Spurs over Arsenal? There's no guarantee. Because Conte doesn't stay at a club for too long, so there's no guarantee like whether your future is definitely going to be there. That's a fact. He doesn't stay at a club. So bring me a track record where he stayed fifth line, you know, for a full project where he stayed. Recently, he hasn't done that. So players will be looking at that and going, will Conte actually commit for the long-term future? And do I actually know what I'm stepping into? But forget all of that. Look, at the end of the day, we're showing the intent to want to sign this player. The player wants to come. So when people sit there and say, no, he'll definitely come to Chelsea, well, why would he sit here and say, I actually want to come? Like, you wouldn't say that. You'd be like, look, I want to wait to see if other offers come in, then bid for me. Because no.
How do you know he wants to go though? Who's told you he wants to go to you?
People are reporting it as well. Like, we can only go off of reports.
So I don't know.
Secondary. If
they
you
reported he's accepted Arsenal.
Yeah, he's open. He's open to an offer. It doesn't mean he wants to go. The same way you're saying about Conte not being here.
Why would you be open if you're looking at other clubs? Like, why, if you're saying no, Spurs, and I'm going to wait for Barca, why wouldn't you say I'm waiting for them?
He's a talented player. He's going to have a lot of clubs looking at him. So obviously he's going to be open. But if Chelsea or Tottenham are also interested in him, then he's got good options to look elsewhere. But you're saying about this whole
guarantee he's coming to Spurs over Arsenal.
I never said that. That wasn't my words. But what I'm trying to say is that this whole thing about will Conte be there? No one believes Arteta is that manager. No one believes that Arteta is a good man. Let's be real. Like the massive elephant in the room that no one's talking about is Arteta is crap. He's not a good manager. So when you're looking at who's going to be there in a year or two, it's facts. He's not good. He's not good. No matter who they sign, the guy is not proven. He's not good. Like, you're looking at all the other clubs, they got quality managers. Even Man United,
listen, I can finally sit here and be at the table for like at least 5 minutes.
Yeah, Man United have got Eric Ten Hag. So you can't tell me Arteta's got Paul. He doesn't. No one knows what he's going to be there like in 12 years. No one believes. If Arteta gets all of these players in now this year, there's no excuses. There's nowhere to hide now. So we got to see what the guy's about. But from what I've seen, you lot were in pole position for fourth last year, and you still crumbled. You still fumbled. You dropped the bag, bottled it, whatever slang or terminology you want to use. So the guy is not good enough to be then saying, yeah, I'm going to pull this guy from here. I'm going to pull that guy from there. We don't know what the guy's about.
Signed some quality players, though. So you can
you signed one quality player so far, one.
So let me tell you this. If Raphinha chooses Arsenal, it's nothing more than him settling, because he's agreed terms with Barcelona. He's already said he wants to go Barcelona. That's his number one option. Every other team apart from Barcelona is the secondary option. We're all aware of that. But if he chooses Arsenal, it's because no other bigger team had come in for him, and he didn't have the opportunity to play Champions League football. Because let's be real, no one wants to pay 65 million for him right now, and that's why there's not so many teams, or no one can afford to pay 65.
It's a high price, man.
That's why there's not a lot of teams room for him right now. Arsenal right now are throwing their money at whoever they can to try and attract them, because you haven't got much pull. You can't negotiate with teams.
Well, why would they come in? All right, if we've got no pull, why are they coming? What's the point?
Well,
he's settling.
Well, Arsenal's better than Leeds. Come on, he's better than Leeds. But yeah, if a Champions League team is in,
no. If we've got no pull, why would Raphinha not just?
Do you know what it is, Scholes? Do you know what it is? Yeah, you know when you go to the club, you aim high. You want to take home the best looking girl, but then when it gets late on in the night, you get to about 3-4 a.m. You're willing to go home with the 5 that you saw at the door who wanted you, but you wasn't too sure about. And that's all it is with Raphinha.
You're just
going to go home. Women's rights, man. Women's rights.
You're saying Arsenal are a 10-2 club. Is that what you're saying?
then late night stragglers. When you see all your boys,
you man just got top 4 overs, and you're talking like
It's every year.
They're in the Champions League.
It's every year.
Doesn't matter what they're going to do. What they're going to do? Are they going to win it? Are they going to get?
It doesn't matter. They're in the Champions League.
At this stage, no one knows. No one knows.
You're not winning it. We know that.
How do you know that? You don't know that.
I know.
I'm
going to do it.
I'm going to do
one at a time.
I'm going to allow this man to do a Stone Cold Steve Austin. I'm going to drop for like 2 seconds. Yo, man, like a gal coming to do the.
What you saying, Gal? What you saying? Sitting backstage, Gal was shaking his head for ages. What you saying?
So many lies are being spewed. First of all, have hope, Patrick, and my guy George. You need to understand that you guys are actually the fourth choice. So if he ends up going to Tottenham, and this has been reported by big boy journalists like David Onstein saying that Tottenham are actually fourth on the pecking order because he doesn't see a first team choice, that he's going to be a first team player at Tottenham, where if he was to come to Arsenal, he knows he's going to be a first team choice. If you were to say picking between Chelsea and Arsenal, maybe he would go to Chelsea. That's a different story because it's been reported that he's even said that he'd rather go to Barcelona as his preferred destination than Chelsea because he sees a possibility into getting into the first team there and also the possibility of winning things. Where Chelsea, after Chelsea and Barcelona, he has Arsenal third. And this whole thing about pull, guess what? Even though we don't have Champions League football, we are still able to attract a 4-time Premier League winner. We are still able to attract a player who was in a team who ended up winning the
Igal, who rates Jesus worldwide? That's not pull.
That
is not pull. That is not pull. That's not pull.
Stop, have hope. We're not talking to you right now. Let me finish my point. First things first, right? So when we're talking about Thomas Partey, we're talking about Aubameyang, we're talking about guys like Odegaard coming in. All these guys are able to still come in when we don't have Champions League football, when we don't have Europa League. And you guys think Champions League football is going to pull you something. Who have you signed since you signed Basuma, and who are you going to sign?
It's been a week since we signed Basuma, Gal. Don't do this.
Since you've signed Basuma, it doesn't seem like you actually are going out and.
So because Arsenal have had a good week of transfers, when just before this, Gal, but we was on your show and you said Arsenal need to step up. We're moving slow. Tottenham are doing all the moves, and because 1 week of good transfers where Arsenal have done something, all of a sudden Tottenham's doing nothing.
You guys I'm not making fun of Tottenham. I'm not making fun of Tottenham in that sense. I'm just saying.
No, I know you're not making fun, but you're trying to point out that Tottenham haven't done nothing.
Your point around Raphinha was very disingenuous and had a weak base to stand on. That's the reality.
It didn't have a weak base to stand on because it's quite clear. What you used was what one journalist said about Tottenham being the last choice. I'm sure it came from, was it Ornstein it came from?
Yes.
Yeah,
an Arsenal journalist.
Exactly. There you go.
So this is what we're going to get through. And I'm not going to try and disapprove or discredit what he is. He's a journalist and very credible. But at the end of the day, what we all know is Champions League, it does have a pull. And you Arsenal fans keep trying to take away that because if you're not going to win it, playing Champions League in itself is just massive. Players want to play there. So the fact that we have that is always going to be a little bit more of a pull than Arsenal, as well as some of the other things that we mentioned. But that's all I'm going to say on it because I know people.
Can I go back to your? Can I? Let me.
I'll be 2 seconds and then you can go. You know what you said about the Arsenal journalist? Guess what? He also reports on other things, but let's go to Tottenham journalists. Tottenham journalists have said, oh, Tottenham, we're never really interested in Jesus. Tottenham, we're never really interested in Raphinha. We always wanted Richarlison. So every single club has journalists that speak about their club. But this guy right here, specifically David Onstein, he was being fair and balanced. He said, Barcelona are first. He said Chelsea are second. Then he said, you know what? Between Arsenal and Tottenham, Arsenal are able to offer first team football going into a World Cup year where he's going to want to get into that team. That's the reality.
It's not fair and balanced. He's an Arsenal journalist, so you're saying it's fair and balanced because you choose to believe it. It's not fair and balanced. He's Arsenal through and through. Yes, he's credible, but he's always going to pick or side with Arsenal. And secondly, this whole thing about Paul and Gabriel Jesus, it's all nonsense. Jesus is going to go. He's left City, who are the best team essentially in Europe, to play. He wants minutes at this stage of his career. So why would he then come to Tottenham? It's not about Paul. It's just about what he wants to do right now in his career. The guy was won 4 Premier Leagues, won countless Carabao Cups. He's at a stage where if he comes to Tottenham, he's going to struggle to get into the first team. He's not better than Harry Kane. We all know that. So he's not going to play as the 9, which is preferred position. He's definitely not better than on the left wing than Son. And he's not going to play on the right wing where Kulusevski plays. So it's not about Paul. It's just about realistically. Sorry, say that again.
Apply the same context to Raphinha.
I agree, but it's not about Paul. It's just about the guy being smart and saying, where do I go? Like he's a bench player for Tottenham where he walks in and he's your star player. He's going to earn the most money there and he's your best player. So where would you go right now? It's not Paul. It's just about being smart and being logical. Do you know what I mean? So this whole thing, and I've seen a lot of Arsenal fans say, "Oh, we've got Paul. No, you don't. The guy just wants to play in a decent team. Arsenal, a good team. You got a chance of winning the Europa League if you actually turn up. So yeah, it makes sense for him to go there, but it's not. It's not.
And you're making a good point, because the original point that George was making and Have Hope were making was, why would he go to Tottenham? Why would he go to Arsenal over Tottenham? But Patrick just laid it out for you guys, the reasons why he would come to Arsenal over Tottenham.
No, but I think we're getting confused here.
One sec. I want to bring this back round. So again, I actually think he starts for Arsenal because he's better than Saka. And that's not a dig at Saka. He's just older, more experienced, and he's better. The article's interesting from Ornstein, though, because this is what it actually says. It says, after Barca, Chelsea are said to be Raphinha's preferred destination, and not only would they be able to provide Champions League football, but potentially also a better chance of winning major trophies. It's worded so well. It says, then comes Arsenal. They play Europa League football and next season, and Tottenham, who qualify for the Champions League. He doesn't say then Arsenal, then Tottenham. He says then Arsenal and Tottenham. He doesn't differentiate in the story which one comes first or second. He's just written Arsenal first. Now, it might mean that. The one thing we're all forgetting in this, though, and this is on Arsenal's side, is Arsenal are actually making the moves right now. And I think that's why they're the favourites, because Chelsea ain't made any kind of official approach. They've had preliminary talks, same as Tottenham. So I'm wondering as to why. That strikes me as strange, because you should all be doing what Arsenal's doing and trying to get the deal done before Barca wake up again. Because that's why I'm a little bit, because if Chelsea come in and bid the money and get accepted by Leeds right now, he picks Chelsea over Arsenal and
100%.
Because of the manager and everything. Sorry.
You didn't finish the sentence. The last sentence after that, he says, qualify for the Champions League and are considered Raphinha, but he is not. But he is not Tottenham's first choice option.
No, he doesn't say that. He doesn't. He says, and considering Raphinha, who qualify for the Champions League, and considering Raphinha, but is not their first choice option. So Spurs don't see him as their first choice option, is what Ornstein said. So he isn't saying Raphinha doesn't see that. Yeah, so that's Spurs saying they're not the first choice option. But none of you really looks at Raphinha as Raphinha's links to Arsenal, Chelsea, and Spurs have only happened because Barca haven't been able to get the deal done. And it's almost like last year, Man United and Varane. United had no plans to go for Varane because they didn't think he was attainable or achievable. When they found out he was, they dropped Pau Torres and went, well, we're going to go for Varane instead. Arsenal, you're doing that. You're calling your interest in Tielemans and you're going for Raphinha. Now, I know they're different positions. That's all because you don't know how much you're going to end up having to pay for Raphinha. If you end up getting Raphinha for 50 million, you're probably going to have enough money left over to get Tielemans. If you end up paying 60, 65, 70, if you get into a bidding war, 70 million for Raphinha, you may not have enough money left to buy Tielemans, which is why you cool the interest down and you pull away from it for a moment. You're not going to say it's because the money might run out. That's not a dig at Arsenal. That's how transfers work. That's why lots of clubs have to sell a few players first, because you've got to free up money. It's not... Honestly, I look at it this way. I think the order, my personal opinion, I think it goes Barca, Chelsea, Arsenal, Spurs, personally, based on playing time. But I think he'd go to any of them. I think Raphinha would go to the one that makes him the best offer, pays him the best wages. I think he goes to. I think he goes to.
Can I just say, I do feel Barca is the prime target, but the issue with the Barca is this whole money thing. Now, Barca say that once they sell away some of their TV rights, they're going to free up money, but their priority is Lewandowski first, which could be 30, 40, or 50 mil. And Leeds, it's a stake up. These guys are charging crack prices for this dude. It's 65, 70 mil. So I don't think Barca will have that amount of money. So really, the issue with Raphinha now is he's going to go to a place where it's going to be between Chelsea, Arsenal, and Tottenham. I'm going into a World Cup here. I need to be guaranteed first in football, so I'm nice, fit, and sharp for that World Cup. So in my view, I think it's going to be between Chelsea and Arsenal, because for Tottenham, let me ask you guys, he plays where? On the right. Is he going to go ahead of Kulusevski? So he's going to fight Kulusevski for the role.
Yeah, he's better than Kulusevski, and I would more than happy have him take over Kulusevski's spot. But let's get one thing clear. If a player feels like he's coming to Tottenham and he can't overtake a 21-year-old player in his position. I don't want those types of players. If you don't feel comfortable enough to be like, I'm going to come and take this spot in the team, and you're not coming to us because you're not guaranteed first team football, then don't come to us, because I don't want players to come to us for guarantees of first team football.
Yeah.
Be good enough and you get in the first teams. As simple as that.
I can't lie. I don't see us going for Raphinha. It just doesn't make sense personally.